and today we have Cody Hill and George, I don't know your last name, George Bryant with us. And they're our farriers, which means they've been taking care of our horses' feet for the last 10 years. We've known Cody for even longer than that, actually, but we've had horses on the property and he's been taking care of their feet for 10 years. So Cody, what is it that you do?
I trim feet, horses' feet mainly. Some donkeys, some zebras, some alpacas.
I heard about some pigs there.
Some pigs. We have a couple clans with some pigs.
And some goats and sheep too. Yeah, he's done that too for us.
Chickens and rabbits, dogs, cats. I've kind of trimmed a little bit of everything, but I'm trained in horses specifically.
Awesome. Can you tell us about your schooling?
Yeah, I went to Merced College. They had a Farrier program there. It was a 2-year program, and I graduated top of my class. Been at it ever since. It's mostly, after school, it's mostly a trial and error. They say that once you graduate class, you're ready to go out and explore and kind of do your business, and you should know everything already, but that's not the case. It's trial by error. You learn by trial, and Tim and Michelle have been good stewards of that, and all the horses that I've crippled for them.
He's crippled none. Just kidding.
This is my 13th year. I went to UC Davis and studied under Kirk Adkins, who was a biomechanics teacher, and he was a farrier there for over 20 years. And he's taught me a lot in how to balance the feet correctly for the mechanics of the horse needs.
So we'll show you a little bit of that today, and then Cody, can you give us a little mild tour of your rig?
Sure.
Because this was not what Cody started out with. When he was with us 10 years ago, it was out of the back of a pickup truck.
Flatbed pickup. Yep.
And no fancy tools. And then he built this actually himself, which was really cool.
Yeah, so I can go through that. So this is number one. This is a shoeing apron. What this does is it protects me and my legs from getting any knife cuts or any nails into my legs. It's worn just like anybody's apron would be, whether you're a cook, keep yourself clean and safe. Buckles around the legs, but this is all leather, strapped, and it's got some double padding. A couple knives that we use to pare out the feet, and I'll show you that in a little bit. A couple different knives and different stages of the knives help blade out the horse's foot. They do their job. Some of them, like this one for instance, this one's a newer knife. It's got thicker blade, the width here, opposed to this one. This one doesn't turn very well, but it cuts nice on flat feet. This one, it turns really well, and this one's for a flatter foot in the finish. So I use all three knives almost on every foot. I've found that this is what works for me. There's no wrong way or right way to use them, other than get the one you like. Hoof stands are an essential part of the business and the process. There's two different kinds of hoof stands. This one has a removable post. This one's not removable. The post, this can slide inside, but again, then you're left with a peg there. I like this one the best because it just slides over, and I can just carry one and it just slides in and out, and I don't have to remove anything. This helps dress the horse's feet. We can show you that process in a little bit also. This is my shoeing cart. This kind of goes everywhere with me. It's got all the tools that you need to shoe a horse, besides your anvil and your hammer. It's got these are the trimmers. That's what we'll nip every hoof with. This is a rasp. The rasp is what blades the horse's foot, kind of gets it flat, blades it out. These other tools are actually not needed to trim a horse, but they're essential for shoeing a horse. These, after you nail with your nails, this is what will clinch the horse's shoe to its foot. And we'll definitely show you the whole process. These are nail nippers. These take the shoe off, called shoe pullers. These are nail creasers. That takes a nail out if you drive one that you don't like the height on. This is the actual hammer that you would nail your nails in with. That's just another little hammer that I use secondary to my driving hammer. This is called a clinch block. This seats the nail tight with the hoof. And this is what actually clinch cutter helps take the shoe off along with these nail pullers. I've got another rasp. The reason why I have two rasps is one's sharper than the other. So this one I can hit metal with, this one I don't. This one I just use on the hoof specifically. These other things, I have a little screwdriver for helping hot seat a shoe. I have a double-edged knife that helps me pare out the frog. This one pares out abscesses. It's just got a little loop on it. These nippers look a lot like these nippers, but these are actually half round for cutting out abscesses and white line disease. Setting clips into the foot as well. The rest of it is just it's aluminum part. These are pull-offs along with these ones. These two are the same, except this has a little bit more leverage than this one does. The rest is just my little cart. This is Durasol, helping treat thrush. You can use Copper Tox, you can use Thrush Buster or Thrush X, whatever your preference is. That's it. This is an essential part of shoeing a horse is my anvil. This one happens to weigh 125 pounds. I have it on a swing out, and I have a leg for it, so I don't have to pick anything up. It kind of saves the longevity of my body. It's 125 pounds. These are the tongs that I use, along with my forge that's also on a swing out. You'll see everything on my trailer is either a slide out or a swing out. This is the forge. It heats up all my shoes. My tongs here will grab any hot material that I have, and then I can go straight to my anvil and shape my shoe with it. So there are several different types of tongs, different sizes, different types, and thicknesses that grab different thicknesses of shoes. These tongs are called a hot fit tong. What this does is it grabs a shoe when it's hot, and I can go and check it against the horse and make sure that the fit is just right. This is a marker. This is a pritchel and a 4-punch. So all these are essential for shoeing a horse. If I mess up one of the shoes, I close one of the nail holes on the shoe itself, I use these tools to open it back up. I have 3 different types of hammers that I use regularly. This one's a 2-pound, this is a 2.5 pound, and this is a 1.75 pound. What this does is a ball peen. I can draw a clip from it and make my own clips to seat them to the feet so the shoes can stay on better. And then these are just regular hammers that I can use to just shape my shoes with. These are also tools that I use not on every horse, not on every shoe, but just ones that I use to modify the shoe for the particular need of the horse. So these are not essential, but they're needed for my business. You can do them by hand. You can have individual tools, handheld tools. I find that this is the most efficient for me. I like that the slide out comes out. It helps me to, again, not lift anything, and it preserves my body for longer. Have the drill press. We have a bandsaw. We have a grinder. It's got a 2x48 belt. This is a 36 grit. We also have a 24 grit for cutting out the sneakers and other pads. This is a knife buffer. Along with this, this is a knife sharpener. It's got just a 1-inch belt. It's a 225 grit belt, and we sharpen all our knives with that. The rest of the things are just hand tools that we need periodically, not very often, but when you need them, you have to have them. It's nice to have a little storage compartment. I'm going to point out a few points in the foot that everybody should know about. These would be your bars. Every horse has 2 bars. They run from the apex of this heel down. Some horses only bars about halfway, some go all the way through. Sometimes if you haven't had your horse trimmed in a while, they'll actually flop over the frog. This portion, most of us know, is called the frog. And the frog has a lateral sulcus, a medial sulcus, or excuse me, a center sulcus and a medial sulcus. The white line goes all the way around the horse's foot, and then it connects down into the bar. Separating the white line from the sole, this aspect is the sole all the way through, is the horse's hoof wall, and the horn itself. And so the distance and the thickness here, it's thinner in the quarter than it is in the toe. So this is called the wall. So we have our bar, we have our sole, we have our white line, and we have our wall. Those are the basic principles of the horse's foot.
Hey, I'm George. I work for Cody Hill. I've been with Cody for like 3 years now. He's taught me everything I know. Went to school after about 2 years of apprenticing, and this is kind of what I do to prep the horse for him. First, feel the foot, bend your legs, sit in there, clean it out. Do that so I can identify what's going on the foot, and I'll start to clean up all the extra dead stuff. Get it all opened up. I gotta pull out the bars. Don't want to leave those in the foot. There. And then all this little bit of extra is gonna come out. All the little black goo in there. It's just a little bit of thrush building. Got that all cleaned up. It just gets worse every time. Just like so. Open it up. And that's how I started. I prep for Cody. Alright, so I'm going to just show you some different parts of the foot, different structure of the foot, and why it's important to do what we do. Clean it out one more time. A lot of people are worried you clean out a foot, you're afraid you're going to do something wrong. Can't hardly do anything ever. Just get it all out, get all the rocks out, all the gunk. And right here, these are going to be our bars. On the edge here and here, this one's already kind of broken out a little bit. Got to open those out of the way, both sides. And another knife, open up the frog a little bit. And you see these black marks? That's a little bit of thrush in there. So I got to cut all that out, open it up some air so it can clean itself up and heal up. Same with this side. Open all that up. And all this floppy stuff, that's all just dead tissue. So all that can go away. You don't have to leave that in there. That's pretty good there because we're gonna start getting some live tissue. You can see how the texture change. Now we're getting some good live stuff down there. Got this toe a little bit. That's how we prep a foot.
So one portion is I always feel down the leg as I pick it up. So I'm checking the tendons, I'm checking the splints. So this is your cannon bone here, I'm checking the cannon bone. And so a horse will tell you a lot of where the pain is, if there's any pain in the horse, but it's also just a good practice to check the flexion as I'm picking up the horse's leg. So a lot of the time this will go undetected, but I'm feeling it, feeling any for cuts, feeling for any bruises, soreness, soft tissue stuff. And as I pick up the horse's foot, then I can tell the flexion. So he's got good flexion in the knee, good flexion in the fetlock, good flexion in, this would be P1, P2, and P3, which is the long pastern, short pastern, and then the coffin bone. Those are all interior skeleton of the horse's foot. Found on Oakley that she's a little stiff, and I went through a couple different thought processes. I found that she has some arthritis in her lower limb, and I'll show you how I came to that conclusion. So first off, she's not super willing to give it to you, and she's kind of straight leg, right? She doesn't want to bend so much at the knee. Also, the flexion in her fetlock here, she should be able to flex, but she doesn't have a lot of extra movement side to side or up and down. And so with this, knowing that she's that way, you can see that her fetlock is locked. She's probably got some arthritis here. She's probably got some arthritis in the lower joint. To tell if it's fused or not, you'd have to take a radiograph, but you can definitely tell by the lack of flexion back and forth that there's some arthritis. And so in order to help her with that, you want to round that toe, give her a nice big radius so that way she can break over easily.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching the first part of our video all about Cody the Farrier. Check back soon for the second part in the series. You'll get to watch him shoe a horse, and you'll also see a little bit of fire. Ooh. Like and subscribe. We'd love to keep seeing you on our channel, and we'll see you later. Bye.